I moved to Korea and this is a 2-month update. Hello. If you don't know me, my name is Trudy Litlape, and yeah, I moved to South Korea 2 months ago. Today actually is my exactly 2 months because it's the 15th of August. Well, yesterday was actually 2 months because I arrived in South Korea on the 14th of June and today is the 15th of August. And I'm just going to give you a life update of how it's going for those who are interested, who would like to know. So before I get into giving an update about Korea and how things are going so far, I just want to get into what I was doing in terms of working, how my life was in South Africa, and what made me decide to move abroad. I have a few things written down because I know I'm going to ramble if I do not stick to the script. So before I came to South Korea, I was working online. I was teaching online, so I'm not so new to the whole teaching thing. In case, I didn't mention, actually I came to South Korea to be an English teacher. So I was teaching online before I came to South Korea, and I had been teaching for a while. I started teaching online in 2019. It's just that when I started teaching back then, I used to work with a center. I worked at MPC. It was still in Bryanston back then. Now it's located in Sunning Hill in Sandton. I worked there for 3 months and I quit. And that's when I started planning my move, actually, because I saw that I wasn't getting a stable income there. I was getting paid 6,000, 6,500. And when I did my research as to how much you could get paid working abroad, either in China, South Korea, Japan, Thailand or Taiwan, whatever location you choose, I could be getting paid more money and the benefits are very, very attractive. I just decided that, you know what, I'm not gonna do this. That's why I quit after 3 months working there, and I started planning my leave. So originally I was planned, or rather I was scheduled to leave in April of 2020, but because of the pandemic I wasn't able to leave. We were living in the ghetto for the past 2 years. It was not fun. I literally felt like my life had come to an end, because now that I'm planning to do something exciting with my life, I'm planning to, be a real adult and, get adult money and just travel. I felt like, why is this happening to me? The ghetto. But I continued to work and teach online. It's just that instead of working at a center, I started working from home. I had a laptop, I had headsets, I had Wi-Fi, I had everything that I needed for me to continue, so I could also continue to have money coming into my account. I didn't go into teaching straight away after the pandemic. I waited for a couple of months because my agent was asking me if do I feel comfortable, when will I to commence my process of coming to South Korea. And I was just no, not yet. I was still very unsure of what was happening. Even though people were leaving the country, moving somewhere else, I did not feel comfortable leaving South Africa in that situation that we were in, because I was scared. What if I leave and then borders close and I'm unable to come back? I mean, there were people who were already in South Africa, not in South Korea, who wanted to go to South Africa, or who are already here established and teaching, who wanted to go but weren't able to go back because borders had closed. People were here longer than they had planned to, and I didn't want to be one of those people. So I was just let's just hold off a bit on that and we'll get back to it a later stage. So I continued working online. I still wasn't getting paid a lot, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't getting paid a lot. I mean, there are people who teach online and get paid a lot of money. I'm not gonna speak ill of the industry as a whole, but there is a side of it whereby You don't get paid 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 just because they're paying you in dollars or euros. They also like undervalue these companies. A lot of companies undervalue South Africans. Let me tell you that for free. But I will do a video separately if you are interested in teaching online, how to get into that. It will be very detailed as to where to look for jobs. Yeah, basically all of that. Right now, I just want to get into like life update of what's happening over here. But yeah, I was still working online, but I wasn't able to financially establish myself back home. I was getting an unstable salary. So 1 month it would be 6,000, 7,000. Sometimes it would be like 10,000 or 12,000, and it would only get to like 10 or like 12,000 if I was breaking my back, if I was extending the amount of hours that I was working. Like, just to give you like a brief paint a picture of my working hours, I would start working from 9 a.m. in the morning to like 1 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes I'd have to wake up at 4 a.m. because the time difference is huge. At some point I was teaching Vietnamese students who are based in America, so I was working according to the American time zone. That's why I would wake up at like 4 a.m. to start teaching. So you can tell that my work-life balance was not work-life balancing, man. I didn't have a life basically, and I was doing that to just get by, pay the bills. I mean, even when I wanted to spend money on myself, I just didn't feel comfortable doing that because of the amount of money that I was getting, plus the bills that I had. You know, if I didn't have so many bills like paying rent or like buying electricity, groceries, all of that. Basically, I wasn't able to like financially plan my life. I wasn't able to do anything with my money that I wanted to. If I would do something, like I would literally like force myself and convince myself that you're working so hard, do something nice, go buy yourself that pair of shoes, go do this, go out. And you know, like I was literally like forcing myself. It was not something that I would wake up and be like, oh, I want to go do this, I want to go do this. No, I can do that here now, you know, but back then I wasn't able to do that. So those were the reasons that forced me, not actually forced me, but they propelled me into coming to South Korea to come and teach. Like, at some point I thought I'd never leave, but when I looked at my lifestyle back in South Africa, I was like, I have to leave. Even though I was starting to think, maybe I can like establish a life for myself in South Africa, work, get myself a nice apartment, do this, do that. The lifestyle was just not lifestyling. Like, I wasn't getting the kind of money that I wanted to get. I was like, Cyril's economy is very hard to thrive in, okay? So it gave me the resistance to continue pushing and applying to come to South Korea. And I will do a detailed video of coming to South Korea, your documents, the requirements. It's a long process. It's a tiresome process. Let me give you that for free, but I'll put it in a detailed video separate to this first month. When I got here, of course, when I landed in South Korea, I was excited. My life is about to begin. I'm in a new country. I'm about to explore, meet new people, learn about a different culture. You know, I was excited, you know. But my first month here was really, really hard. I'm not even gonna pretend. I'm not gonna lie. It was really, really hard. Like, in as much as I was excited, but the reality kicked in that I'm in a different country. I am a minority here. Like, back home, I was surrounded by Black people. I spent most of my time with Black people. Like, you know, getting here, I'm now a minority. Majority of the people here are Korean people. They speak Korean. Everything is in Korean. The road signs are in Korean. Like, everything in the shops is in Korean. Like, you know, I'm just trying to paint a picture of the shock. Not that it was so much of a shock. I knew what I was signing myself for, but when I actually got into the reality of it, it was a shock, you know. And also just moving into my neighborhood. I live in Daegu. So Daegu is like the 4th largest city in South Korea. They are Black people. Let me give you that. There are Black people. There are Black South Africans here in South Korea. It's just that we are spread out. So when I got here, I didn't have a SIM card, I don't have network, I am unable to navigate, I am unable to explore. Basically, I am dependent and reliant on my co-workers and them just giving me direction. And I didn't want, I started to feel like a burden in a bit, but even though like they never made me feel like it, I personally just felt like, I'm being too much, just basically that. And I started to feel lonely as well, because in my neighborhood, I'm the only black person here. At first, I was like, okay, maybe like in the first week or so, I might just be the only one. And then as time goes on, I will see other black people. But the first week went by, the second week went by, the third week went by. I haven't seen any black people here. I mean, I did not come to South Korea to like be with black people, but just the fact that it dawned on me that I am a minority. It really dawned on me that I'm the only black person in my neighborhood. I didn't have a SIM card. I didn't know where to locate other black people. I didn't know where I should go if I wanted to meet or have friends or make friends. My colleagues are very helpful, but I'm working at a hagwon. A hagwon is a private school, and usually if you're working at a public school, or if you come with the EPIC program, which is like the public school program to teach in South Korea, when you get here, you have dinners, you have lunches with your co-workers, your colleagues, the other group of people that have come from different countries, and you instantly start to mingle. Working at a private school, when you get here, you are at your school and you are limited to the people at your school. There are other foreign teachers in my school, but they are all white. There's 4 of us in total, 3 of them all white. I'm still the only black person. So I started feeling lonely, started feeling alone, started feeling socially awkward as well. And I'm an introvert. I'm an extrovert at heart. I love to explore. I love to be around people. But because of the language barrier, when I walk into a shop, when I walk into a store, they speak to me in Korean. I cannot understand Korean. They cannot understand English. If I'm not there with like my co-worker who is Korean, I basically won't be able to understand anything, So I started to feel socially awkward, and that is not me. Like, I started even feeling afraid of going to like a cafe, ordering something, because I remember, I think the second weekend of me being here, I tried to explore, around my neighborhood. Went to a cafe, ordered iced coffee. I got to the cafe, they didn't have an English menu. So the girl behind the counter, she understood iced coffee. I was just like, iced coffee, and then I ordered like dessert. So they had like desserts displayed. I just pointed to like the dessert that I wanted and got my order. I didn't know that the iced coffees here don't have sugar. They don't have sugar. I messed up my order. I had a sip of that and it didn't have sugar. I was like, what the hell? Was I supposed to ask for sugar on the side or what? So after that experience, I just felt like, that's how my experience is going to be through and through when I go to like restaurants or like cafes. So I started to like just be by myself during the weekend and not go out and not explore, because I was waiting for my ARC card in order for me to register for a SIM card and start using the navigation apps here. By the way, Google Maps does not work in South Korea. Google Maps does not work. So even if I wanted to explore, I had Google Maps. I had downloaded the Korean navigation apps. I didn't have a SIM card. I didn't have network. The Wi-Fi spots were here and there, and life is just easier in Korea when you have a SIM card. So that's why my first month was a bit of touch and go in terms of adjusting. Low-key felt depressed. Low-key, because as an extrovert, I like being outside. Like, the weekend felt too long for me. The Saturday and Sunday felt too long, But the second month, everything was fine. Everything was cool. Everything was happening, you know. I got my ARC card. So an ARC card is an alien registration card, basically like an ID for foreigners to show that you are legally working in Korea. So I finally got that, and I was able to register for a SIM card. I was also able to open a bank account. And now that I have a SIM card, I can start using the apps in Korea. I can use Naver and Kakao Map, which is one of the apps, or both apps are navigation apps. And basically I can navigate anywhere in South Korea. If I wanted to walk downtown, if I wanted to go to like a department store, like a mall, you know, like just starting to explore and meeting new people. You know, like I started going out, I started exploring. I met I met my first friend in Daegu in South Korea. She was black, you know, she's an American girl, she's black, and Yana, she had been here for like a week. We two-seated because she got a SIM card at the airport. Had I known that I'd have to wait so long to get a SIM card, I also would have gotten myself a SIM card at the airport because I saw them. But because I had this thing, and my agent also didn't like explain to me like the process of getting a SIM card, I thought that when I land, they're gonna give me a SIM card, you know? But my agent didn't actually explain to me that, hey, Wena, you're gonna have to wait till you get an ARC card and then register for a SIM card. And the waiting time for an ARC card can be anything between 2 weeks to a month to like 6 weeks, you know, and mine took about a month, literally. So the girl that I met, she had a SIM card. She was able to start exploring, able to like go out and buy stuff for her apartment. I only started buying things for my apartment 1 month later, you see. So second month, I was slowly starting to adjust. It was fun. I was going out. I started trying new restaurants. I stopped feeling socially awkward because now I can use the apps. I can use the translation app. There's a translation app here in Korea called Papago. And when I get to a restaurant or a cafe and there's no English menu or they can't speak English, which is like 99% of the time, I started feeling more confident, you know, to do that. I started feeling more easygoing, and yeah, man, like it was so much better than my first month. And then on, I think 2 weeks after getting my ARC card, I decided to navigate to go downtown. So downtown is like the more vibey area of Daegu. Like there are a lot of young people there, and I started seeing more black people. So I started feeling like, oh, I'm not the only one here. I'm not the only black person here. Like there's more of us. And luckily that weekend I met a group of South Africans. I was so happy, I almost even cried. Like I was so happy because I went downtown initially to go to Daiso and start like shopping for a few items for my apartment. And then after leaving Daiso, I went to Shake Shack. I've always wanted to try out the burgers at Shake Shack, and Shake Shack is an international franchise, so of course you're going to find foreigners there. Like it's the one of those places where you can always find a foreigner, like a McDonald's or a Burger King, because we gravitate towards those places because we are familiar with them, you know. So for me, I know that Shake Shack is an international franchise. We don't have it in South Africa, so that was one of the things that I was wanting to try when I got to South Korea. I wanted to try out Shake Shack burgers. So when I went to Shake Shack, I met a group of South Africans and I joined their table. Funny enough, they had also met each other on that day, and that's how I made friends. And I have been enjoying ever since, like meeting up every weekend, every now and then. I even just recently came back from my first vacation because 2 weeks ago we had a summer vacation and like the schools had closed. So I went to Busan for the first time. It was amazing. It was superb. I hadn't enjoyed myself for such a long time. In fact, back home in South Africa, I wouldn't have dreamed to go on a vacation, you know. Like the last time I went on a vacation, like a beach vacation, was in 2016, you know. Like life was not lifing back home. Like, life was ghetto. Like, with the money that I was getting, I wouldn't even dream of going on vacation because I'd always be so stressed about paying this, paying that, buying this. How much money do I have left? I need to work more hours in order to get this amount of money. Like, I was not used to a stable income. So even now, I am still adjusting to the concept of a stable income. There are times where I'm like, ish, I want to buy this, but I'm like, ish, let me not buy it. So, and then it'll come back in my mind. I'm like, you have a stable income. You can literally buy this and you don't have to worry about money coming into your account next month. Like, I constantly have to reassure myself that there is money coming into your account. It's the same amount of money that came in last month, and it will be the same amount of money that you will be getting every single month. I was not used to that back home. So I would always be in a constant state of anxiousness or worry and concern, thinking, trying to calculate how many hours did I work this month? It equals to this amount of money. So here, I don't have to worry about that, and I can just go out and eat out and just explore and just enjoy myself, you know. Like, also the safety here is 100. Oh my God, the safety in South Korea, it is amazing. I can literally walk with my phone out like this on the street. I can put my phone in my back pocket and not have to worry about someone coming and snatching it out of my hand, snatching it out of my pocket. I can be in a restaurant, leave my phone on the table, my bag on the table, go to the bathroom, and not worry that when I come back, someone's going to take my stuff. I can walk at night as well without worrying that I will get kidnapped, I will get snatched, someone will rob me. I don't have to worry about that. And also, like, the transportation system here is amazing. On Kakao Map, I mentioned it earlier, it's an app, it's a navigation app, but also if I wanted to go a place a bit further than my neighborhood, it will literally show me like the buses that are available and the subways that are available and where I can get my nearest bus station, the nearest subway. It'll even like help me navigate to that subway or bus station and tell me which bus to get on or which train to get on, and I will even get a notification as the bus is approaching that get on this bus, get off at this stop, you have so many stops left until you get off. Like, life here is very, very convenient. The food, I've tried different kinds of Korean food. My favorite so far is kimchi. I love kimchi. It is amazing. It is my favorite. I've also tried other Korean food, but kimchi so far seems to be my favorite. Also, like, cost of living here is not that bad, if I can say. On our salary, on a teacher's salary, it's not that bad at all. You can get by, you can do more than just get by depending on your spending habits, because I cannot talk for everyone. If you're a baller, then that's on you. But if you are like someone who budgets, who has like a monthly budget, you can get by very easily. Cost of living here is very good for me personally, because I have like a monthly budget that I set for myself, that eating out, this is how much I'm going to spend. Maybe like activities, this is how much I'm going to spend. Traveling, if I'm traveling for that month, this is how much I'm going to spend, and I'll still be able to like send money home and still be left with like a couple of 100,000 wons in my account, because the way money is set up in this country, it's very different, you know. So I'd still be able to save, eat out, travel, send money home, and I'm good, you know. So life so far has been great. I'm enjoying South Korea. This is the South Korea that I signed up for, you know. So that's just like a 2-month update as to how life has been here. I would suggest, if you're interested in like following my journey, I post daily updates on Instagram mostly. So you can follow me on Instagram. You can also follow me on TikTok, but I will start utilizing YouTube and start filming more longer detailed videos about my life. So if you're interested in that, you can subscribe to the channel, you can like the video, you can share it with anyone. I will be doing a series on teaching how to get to South Korea and teach here the requirements, the benefits as well, the different kinds of teaching programs that I know of. Yeah, so basically, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.